Welcome to Exafrag, episode number 8. I'm your host, Zeph, joined by my co-host, Esports Andy, the legendary Ford TV,
What's up?
and the guy who predicted China and made a banger video way ahead of time, Saido. Welcome to the podcast. Introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Saido. I'm a freelance video editor. I do a lot of Valorant editing. I've worked with EMEA and EMEA Ascension. I'm doing some freelance work for some other people right now. Just kind of vibing, having a good time.
Yeah, and your videos are definitely higher quality than mine. So, great to have you here.
You make some pretty good stuff.
Sorry. Okay. So Champions just concluded, and it was a banger. I don't know if I was just tired and I was just enjoying everything, or if I was just tired and everything was just like mind blowing. But I feel like we got like one of the best 5-map series like ever. Like it was just like moment after moment after moment.
It was crazy. Like right when I saw that we were having Abyss as like a deciding map 5, I was like, we're 100% gonna get to Abyss, and it's gonna be a good like. It was Team Heretics and EDG, two great stories, and whoever won, it was like we kind of all won. Like before the match started, I was like, I just want both of them to win. Like it was just a fun match.
Yeah.
You know, sorry, you can continue, Saido.
I think on comparatively to all the other BO5 finals that we've had, not this year, but overall, I think this is the second greatest behind the Fnatic one. The Fnatic Lock-in versus Loud. But I am biased I am very biased, but I still think that one is a little bit better. It's just like, I don't know. It's such a good final we had. Like, it's this one with Heretics and EDG was such a banger. Like, holy. If you haven't watched it, you should go watch it because it's crazy.
All right. Yeah. It was just, I mean, and again, the production was incredible. Like, they had like the people who performed Superpower, they were out there. And then like even like the days before, we got like teasers we got the reveal of Vice. I thought they were gonna do that like on the day of Champions, but they did it like a day or two before. So that was pretty cool. And then yeah, they also announced like the schedule and all that stuff. So that's what we're gonna talk about. So make sure to like subscribe. We're trying to reach 500 subscribers so we can get this podcast monetized.
Well, and also they didn't have a show match to begin with.
Yes.
Which
yeah, I'm
I
surprised.
personally was a fan that we didn't. If we're not going to show the new agent, of course, like in play.
No, and I also think that they learned from the last event where like the American audience, like that 1 hour show match, like really hurt the viewership, especially from like NA.
That makes
Yeah.
sense. You know, I think it's better. Show matches work better with for a new map anyway than a new agent.
Yeah.
Because it's it's only 2 people out of 10 you really get it shown, and yeah, it's a
Right.
map.
And some of the creators are getting like access to Vice today, so
Yeah,
it's
people already got access.
people
I
are gonna
think
get it regardless.
TMV already played it on stream earlier today.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Crazy.
so I like that better to reveal a new agent, but I just liked getting right into the game, seeing all the players. Like that was fun because like that's what we're there for, and it just kept like me like right from the beginning. The matches were the maps were really great.
Yeah.
I think
The
it's
map
sick.
battles were too.
I think it's sick when they reveal stuff on the broadcast and stuff like that. But like, in my opinion, the show match just kind of, I don't know if it ruins the vibe or like ruins the flow, but it kind of like puts a pause on like the event. We're here to
Yeah.
watch the two grand finalists of this huge event, and oh wait, let's just start the stream an hour earlier so we can watch 10 influencers play the new agent.
Yeah, like a glorified ranked match, basically. So, all right. Well, let's get into the final 3 days of the tournament, and let me see. Let me transition here. We'll start with Edward Gaming versus Leviatan. I was honestly surprised about this match. I legitimately thought Leviatan was going to punch their ticket into the grand finals and make me upset in the process.
I mean, to be honest, like they should have won this game. They should have
Yes.
won like the last map. Um,
They lost 5 in a row. Like
Yeah, they did.
to lose
it was yeah, they did choke on this map.
Yeah, they choked, and then what? They were up 9-3 on Icebox, and then let that go, and they still won it. But like, it just wasn't. That's why I said in your videos, F, like this was to me the most inconsistent one seed that was going into the event, because I thought there was like one day they are the one seed, the next day they're
Right.
just not as solid. But of course, EDG won the whole thing. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
they
it
were
was
consistent.
the attack on Abyss where ASPAS was trying to lurk up mid every round with AWP, and then
Yeah.
they had no one to entry.
Dude,
Yeah.
Aspas
So
was like
Tex was
panicking
trying to
at the
entry.
end.
It just
And they
wasn't
did the exact
good.
same thing against Heretics. As like the Heretics knew that ASPAS like he would just bring out an AWP and attack, so like lurk up towards mid. They just knew, and they just exploited that. That's like the Heretics like exploited the same thing against them. That's why their Abyss was attack got dismantled again. But yeah, that was like they were doing the same thing for the last 5 rounds.
Yeah.
Um,
I also want to commend EDG because for like a lot of the tournament, it felt like Kang Kang was like carrying uh them, and even in like Abyss, like he kind of like faltered a little bit. Like you could see it
yeah,
like statistically wise, but man, like when he
he
did
picked
have
it up.
impact, he had like major impact. Like 9 first kills and your KD is still negative. Like that is insane to me. And then everyone else like stepped up to his first kills.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not dissing Aspas. I still think is the best player in the world, but it was him doing that. But then obviously Kang Kang did start to come online as well, especially the AWP
Yeah.
the last few rounds.
And someone that like everyone's kind of overlooking with EDG, and especially in like this match against Lev, I'm pretty sure. Let me look. But like Chichoo,
Chichoo's the goat.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
she's
Chichoo.
so good.
Chichoo was clutching
like
up.
uh, without Chichoo, they would not win this tournament at all.
Yeah.
They wouldn't even get like Chichoo was the savior in so many rounds.
On Abyss,
Cool.
on defending side on Leviatan, he went 12-6, like on Astra.
Yeah.
Like yeah, so he was definitely that's kind of what makes a
Well,
championship team.
He's the hard rock of the team. Like he just clutches everything. He's so consistent.
it's
Whereas
also like interesting to talk about like their composition because like they're the only ones that run Astra Omen on this map.
yeah, the no Sentinel comp. Yeah, their attack's really strong. That's where
Yeah, and I mean there's other stuff I'll talk about like how well they adjusted on Abyss with this composition, but I'll save that for when we talk about grand final. Okay,
And
let's go back. We had a Team Heretics versus Sentinels. Unfortunately, I was not available to watch this match, so please fill me in on what happened here.
Benjyfishy woke up and shows violence.
also Riens might be the best solo player in the world. So he dismantled.
True.
He destroyed them on Abyss. Like he just randomly server. He's so raw, so like he doesn't have to scan anyone. He would just like it looks like he has walls at sometimes. Pops it and just insta tags someone who's just standing behind a wall, and you'll get the kill like 90% of the time. This guy is ridiculous on Sova. He's so
Yeah.
impactful.
Even that stat line is insane. Like 24 and 13 on a initiator.
Yeah, on a map that's pretty like support heavy when it comes to initiators.
Well, and like his game sense is just insane because
Yeah,
he really doesn't like when he ults on like Icebox or whatever. He really doesn't like use any util. He just is like, oh yeah, they'll probably be in this corridor right now, and then he'll get like at least 2 tags.
it happens so much. He
Like-
knows like the timings and like when people are going to be hitting, where they're going to be standing without even having to use util, which is pretty. That's why he's so good. Like his Sova is ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm excited for this team for next year. I just hope they don't go the Paper X route and just become like
I don't think so. I
Like-
think
like
they're
Cursed.
like
they have an IGL.
Yeah.
yeah. I think they're like their ideas, like the way they play, they're defaulting go to Paper X, where it's it's relies on heavy consistency from multiple players. They're like, I think Heretics have a more consistent style. I'm not dissing Paper X. I think Paper X is still a good team, but Heretics they can keep up like their play style without having to like go crazy on the fragging department.
I want to point out that Heretics has had what both Madrid and Shanghai. They had Patitek, right, for Minibu and for Riens.
Yeah.
So they haven't had like the full team internationally besides now, right? And they still made these results, as well as the team is built on the idea of this being like a more long-term thing. So I don't think they expected to make these type of results, these type of international like top 4 results so consistently already. I mean, it's amazing, but I don't think that was the plan. So now they just have to keep that consistency, and they'll get a trophy. There's no doubt that next year, they'll probably get a trophy in my mind. Like they'll probably just get hungrier.
I mean, they're all so young, so
Yeah, and they also have the role of flexibility, I think, enough to where if the meta changes even like pretty drastically, they should be able to flex enough. Like they're not like all like I'm just a Sova player. Like I'm just like Jet.
You even saw it on Lotus where like Riens was like, "Oh, I don't really like Boo. Can you play Fade? I want to try out Omen." And he's like, "Yeah, let's do that." And they still managed to be like good on the map, even though like they complete switch roles. They still were really good on the map. Just because Woot was like, "Yeah, I think I can play more aggressive like TenZ style Omen or Lotus and try it out."
I'm trying to remember their game against Sentinels because now I'm just thinking of like their later matches. But
so Haven looked pretty rough for Heretics at the start.
Well, TenZ went off.
Yeah,
like,
TenZ's got the Sentinels classic, right? Buff. It's unfair, isn't it?
Yep, 29 and 10.
So it's not fair.
And yeah,
they got
TenZ went
dismantled a bit.
29 and 10.
Yep, on Haven on
like,
Omen.
Like this was like a rank match for him.
358 ACS.
That's crazy.
I'm pretty sure this was also like Heretics were probably also struggling on Haven a lot because they're playing in against a Cypher comp and they don't really have anything to break the Cypher trips. And from what I remember, it was like the way that Sentinels were playing, they were letting them kind of take site, and then as the site hit was coming in, they were retaking immediately, like really quickly.
Yeah. Oh, on Icebox again, I think Sentinels were up 8-4, and it looked like Heretics might get knocked out. But then the Benjyfishy 4K, was it 4K? That saved them. And that was probably one of the best rounds of the tournament. Where they were walking up, he was Maze, and he just one taps 3 of them. And then Boo finished it off, and I think it was Boo in a 1v1. I think that dismantled, that like broke Sentinel's mental a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
As well as Zekken tabbing out, that was unfortunate. But there was 2 unfortunate things that happened. Yeah, that was the like straw that broke
the camel's back. Just on Abyss, just looking at the stats, it looks such a mental defeat. Like go look at the stats on Abyss, and you can see Zekken is like up there, TenZ is up there, and then everyone else is just kind of the mental was a
Yeah, they just
boomed.
boomed.
Yo,
Yeah, I mean,
Zellsis
Zekken got that
mental
insane
just
ace,
destroyed.
didn't he? On the second pistol, which like could have brought them back, but just unlucky. I mean, they just got owned on their attack.
Man,
Whew.
that killed
Yeah, that's
Sentinels.
tough.
I mean, Sentinels like hey,
They
they
went
did
further.
very well this year. They did very well. So
I don't think they won Masters Madrid, and like people saying that was like a Mickey Mouse tournament, like whatever, but they still won a tournament like trophy. So like it's a great season, but I definitely don't think they were like one of the top team like this year.
well, I think
Okay.
if you had next year's schedule, I think it would be better.
To address these Mickey Mouse allegations, people will call anything a Mickey Mouse tournament
course.
if it's not the team that they want to win.
Oh,
Come
they
on.
had like every like people were saying like EDG's run was like, oh well, they had an easy run. They played the second, third, fourth, and then Paper X like in their run.
Yeah.
And like they beat everyone. Who else do you want them to beat? Everyone else is home.
Yeah. People are unreal.
And
Unrealistic expectations.
I remember seeing at the beginning VLR, like right before the people, there was like a thread that said, why does China have 4 spots in champions? They don't deserve 4 spots.
Oh, they will next year. Yeah, we're
Holy
not
shit.
winning. No, just give it to China. Give a trophy to China. Honestly, they're winning everything.
Yeah, man, the Americas are done for. We didn't even make it into the last 2.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
did.
so it's
finals.
over. America's washed region. I'm telling you, washed.
Leviatan finished 3.
That's the true Americas. 'cause,
South NA.
yeah,
That's
it's from every region in Americas.
all right. Speaking of those frauds, Leviatan versus Team Heretics. I do remember watching this match. It just seemed like Leviatan never had a grasp on anything except Abyss. Like they would just let go of these.
Sunset was a very
leads.
close game. Sunset
Yeah.
was almost overtime, and they
in my
they
opinion,
were 12-10 up, right?
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think it was just a Boo diff, honestly. Like IGL diff. I think
Yeah,
Boo just had a better read, honestly. Like Leviathan looked not clueless. They looked a little bit lost. Like they couldn't get a read on what they were like. TH was doing, right? They just struggled in like getting the game into a state where they could get like the predictive read on them.
I mean, Riens again. He might be like he's my MVP for Heretics this tournament. Like, he dominated that game again. Like you put him on Sova, he's insane. You put him on. This guy's. I mean, all the players are like insanely flexible in Heretics, but especially Woot and Riens, and they can play anything.
Yeah. But like my biggest thing is like even like when ASPAS is not popping off for this team, it's like everything just falls apart. This team is built on a house of fucking cards. Like
Yeah, I just don't feel like he has any. Like he has to do everything, and then I don't know his demeanor too much, but like it feels like ASPAS really does feel like, hey, I gotta become the
him.
GOAT. I have to do everything. I gotta dive super deep with this op that I shouldn't really have, or like he just feels like he kind of tries to take on too much when it needs to be more like strategy.
Yeah, and it's like you guys were saying, like on that last map on Abyss, like that was exactly I'm sorry, on the third map, like that is somewhat what he was trying to do.
I mean, they
But,
still
like,
won it, but like
yeah, but Mazzino and Kingg were the
Yeah.
ones that won that map for them.
They I think they started trying to do the AWP thing, and then they like switched it because they knew Heretics knew exactly what they were doing. So the EDG game, and
Yeah.
then Lotus. That game was just
That was just sad.
they were getting diffed. Actually, to be honest, like there was a one round where they went for a C push, and they were just 3 people holding, and they just destroyed them. Like, no, it wasn't even a trade. It was just, I think the mental had gone at that point. Well, no, because they did win the map before, but it was just maybe the steam had gone. I don't know. I don't know what the internals of the team. I'm assuming the internal team are quite high. They have quite positive players, I think. But it's just, I don't know.
I
Just
have a
unlucky.
question.
Mm.
Do you guys think that Leviatan has like a really high peak, but then when they're faltering, they're kind of a mid team. They're not like a championship winning team when
They're a-
like when ASPAS is faltering, but they're kind of like better than average, if you know what I mean. Like they're not bad, but they're not great because like they lose out to TH. They probably could have lost out to Sentinels if they played. They lost out to like EDG, but like I don't think they're necessarily a super bad team. They just feel a little bit like all over the place sometimes.
it I think it's what like you're saying. Like they have some really high highs, and yeah, they're a pretty consistent team. But when the shit hits the fan, they're not like Team Heretics at all. They will just like start like choking. Like I don't know if you remember Master Shanghai when they had to face Foot Esports. They got destroyed, I think, on Sunset. I mean, let me double check that. But
Was it a 13-1 game? Or?
yeah, it was a 13-1 game. Like, what? Like, how can a team be like this inconsistent?
Well, I think Lev are like the lucky version of NRG. Like,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
times where they just get blown out. Like maps where they just don't look like they even are like a team. Like 13-3 to like whoever. But then they can rebound and have really good moments and hit their shots and just NRG just never had that moment. Like Lev could have easily been NRG this year.
They're like the biggest. Oh, we're back. We're so back. Oh no, it's Jova. Oh, we're so back. Oh no, it's Jova team.
Yeah.
You never know. Like
Exactly.
they can be like look like the best team in the world and just dominating everyone, and then fall flat. I mean, the Trace game was another example. The same thing happened.
Yeah.
But to be fair, Trace was pretty like
Yeah, Trace. Okay. We talked about the EDG thing, right? Having an easy run. That's like the only game that you could say was easy, but it's still Trace who did very well. I mean, EDG are the China destroyers. They destroy their own teams every time. So, but again, Trace did very well to get out of the playoffs. Just unfortunate they faced, the one team they were never going to beat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that just kind of took out their steam. Because I feel like if they played a different team, it could have been a different story. Like they could have kept going after the Lev game.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
then they played DRX.
they ran into a brick wall.
They did.
I
Yeah,
heard some
but-
funny rumors from I think it was from Shanghai. They were talking about like some players were talking about it anyway. It was like Trace was pretty high up there. They're like good scrim like partners or like people to scrim against because they were pretty good apparently. So like people, I think teams were a little bit more aware of Trace than like the rest of the majority of the community because like
I see.
apparently they were really good, like crazy.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, Trace has a lot of potential. They just need to like learn how to not choke their games. I remember watching VOD reviewing for the haters guide, and those guys fell short like by like one map every time. They could have literally been at at all the international events if they didn't choke. Okay. Anything else to say about Leviatan before we get to
Nah.
Lev,
the big
they don't change any players. That's what I'm going to say. They won't change any players.
They
I don't
probably
think they
just
will.
need to have a sit down, honestly. Like I think they can, if they have a serious sit down and like structure up the team a bit, like make it so ASPAS actually has the help that like Simon is to Kang Kang, for example, then there'll be a winning team. Like
Yeah. If they were to make a change, the only one I could see happening is Calm. I felt like he was like very inconsistent for like majority of the game. Uh, yeah, that's just my opinion.
I don't
Majority
know.
of his games.
I still think he's the pure supportive element of the team.
I just think he could be on a different team and do more, but I don't know. I could see them just sticking with this
I think
team
they'll
next
I
year.
think they'll stick with the same team. If not,
Yeah.
Com will probably go to like a Boostio led team again.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Okay, grand finals time. Team Heretics versus Edward Gaming. This was not the grand finals I had in mind. I knew Team Heretics might like make it here, but I legitimately thought we were gonna get like a Gen G Team Heretics or Gen G like G2. G2
I
going
mean,
far.
the Edward Gaming style, right? It's like suits the meta so well. I was watching these games when he's on Neon. I was like, thank God the Neon buff came, because that is like a lot of the reasons Kang Kang was allowed to do what he was allowed to do on that agent. Just his slide, he was getting so many slide kills, and he has that double
Yeah.
slide. He can go again. I think the Neon buff especially helped out Kang Kang. Obviously, it helped out Mini Boo, but Kang Kang was like unreal on the maps he was playing it, and it really helped him. So the current patch is really helpful for EDG. I think that's one of the reasons. Obviously, Simon coming in as the new IGL has changed the team completely. But yeah, the meta has really helped.
Yeah, I think the also like Kang kind of like change his like play style a bit, because I remember like he would default on the op so much before, and this time around he only like was playing it if he was like feeling it, and
Yeah.
like that helped a lot, because there were like a couple rounds where like, you know, he was on the rifle, he was on the rifle, he was on the rifle, and then he switched to the op, and it caught the other team by surprise. And I feel like that is kind of like the element of like a of his opping that I really like, because it feels like it comes out of nowhere sometimes.
I
Well,
always want. I know, continue, Andy.
I was just gonna say that, like, one thing that I think a lot of like good teams are realizing, and like Kang Kang probably realized, is with teams like Team Heretic that have really good systems, like, oh, we do this to do this. They don't just like walk into an op all the time. You can't just, oh yeah, the Jet's gonna have the op. Like, you have to, because then they'll like do things, and that's why like Lev were sucking at it, because like Team Heretics knew, oh yeah, we can just not peek here. We can just let him be stuck there looking down his scope for like 50 seconds, and they get nothing. So that's why like Kang Kang has been using the op. Like, I think it's really smart by them, like, to really switch up. Like, don't just pick the best gun.
Yeah, I
One
agree.
thing we'll say about this best of 5 is that no one had like a terrible performance on any of the teams, which is good to see. You know, no one's gonna be like, oh, I didn't try my best. I wasn't playing my best. I didn't like. No one had a shocker, which was, that's always good. Because no one in this best of 5 is going to be blamed. It's gonna be like, oh, this guy's fault. This guy, kick him, which is always a good positive. Because
Yeah.
obviously a lot of people get dogpiled on if they lose a big match like this. So that's something, a positive take out for Heretics, at least, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, I kind of want to talk about this first map, because if it wasn't for that first map, I'm pretty sure this would have been a 3-1 victory for EDG. And like my main thing is like, dude, EDG were so nervous. Like,
Yeah.
you could see it on the screen. Sometimes I say, oh, like they're nervous, like, and it's just like a couple like botch rounds. My God, they were botching the entire map. Like, miss plans, miss ults, like time management was fucking garbage. Like, what happened that first map?
To be honest, I think it actually helped them. Like, the fact they lost the map so badly, they were like, oh, it's
It's out of the
good
way.
now. Let's get it out of the way. We can go to the next map. Just think next map. I think actually helped them a lot because obviously Sunset they just absolutely owned on Sunset, and that's where you obviously see the Kang Kang Neon just, they got the safe flashbacks. He was running in, sliding, and killing everyone. Like the same thing. The safe did the exact same thing against him on Sunset. It was like it's a deja vu for them, I guess, for Heretics.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, on Haven they timed out 3 times, 3 and 4 rounds. And then just going back to Sunset and going 12 and 1. Like that saves mental, cuz if I don't know, like I thought there was a chance that they were just going to get swept.
Yeah, when I was watching the first map, it's like maybe Heretics are just different. Maybe they're just gonna wreck it China again, but then obviously the next map came. I was
The
like, oh,
thought
wow.
did go through my head that like it might have been a 3-0, but I think the moment where I knew it, like it wasn't happening, like they were gonna snap out of it, was at the end of the first half of the first map, because you could see like Kang Kang celebrating a 1 round win. Like they had won the pistol, they lost everything in between, and then they won the last round of the first half, and you could see like Kang Kang like screaming, like super hyped. Mental was like not shot at all from that performance. So many players get like in their head about like losing a map like super bad. Like this guy was still cheering on for his teammates. He was still trying to pick him up on a 9-2 half basically. They got it to 9-3. They still lost, but I felt like that momentum like carried over to the next map.
I mean, such a godsend for the team. I think like inside inside and outside the game, this guy is like carrying the mental of the team. He's like, I mean, there was one round on Lotus where Simon whiffed. It was like in a 1v1. And straight after the round, Kang Kang's like patting him on the shoulder, like, it's okay, man, it's okay. It all happens. It all happens to the best of us. Like this guy, carries in and outside the game. It's just that's why a lot of people just love him as a player.
I have
Yeah.
something fun I want to point out actually. EDG have almost always lost the first map. Like they 2-0'd Trace, so they didn't lose the first map. They 2-0'd Foot, they didn't lose the first map. But they won the first map against G2. But other than that, Sentinels they lose the first map. Then they come back. Same against Leviatan, and then again against Heretics. So like I don't think to them losing the first map was that big of a deal. Like it kind of looked a little bit sad from the outside maybe, but it just as soon as you got on Sunset, I think like the atmosphere kind of changed. They had a plan, they were like engaged. I don't know if I was the only one that like I think 3 rounds in I was like, oh, we have a game. This is gonna go like 4 to 5 maps. 3 rounds into Sunset, I was like, oof, this feels like a long one.
When you see them having fun, there's gonna go far.
Yeah. Okay. That was all my notes for like map 1. Map 2, I had to take a nap. So if someone wants to fill me in on what happened on map 2, that would be amazing.
Sunset,
Aside
right?
from
Yeah,
just
they
popped
just got
up.
dismantled. To be honest,
Yeah.
the Heretics. It's the game where it's the safe deja vu game where Kang Kang was just running and sliding everywhere, just killing everyone. Like the util was really good. Obviously, the util was really good, but it's just he's just like running into their site in like 2 seconds. He had he has a ridiculous stat line at one point. I'm pretty sure him and Chichoo were like just the only people with like any kills. And then yeah, it was ridiculous. I think
Yeah. Any more additions about map 2?
If you won Sunset in 1 round, go and look at round number 8. It's when he aces. He
Yeah.
literally cannot be killed, and he hits all the shots.
Yeah,
They,
he has like 1 HP, right? I remember,
yeah, it's crazy. He just runs them down with aces. It's like, what happened?
it's like it's unbelievable. He does love the it was an eco ace, but it's still impressive.
But like Heretics were like 3 people and they missed. And
Yeah.
it was like one Kang Kang.
Yeah. His aura's too much, you know.
Round 8,
Like
right?
curves bullets.
Yeah, around 8.
All right. Showing it right now. Let's talk about map 3, which was Bind. And I feel like
Wait,
everybody.
Lotus.
Oh, was it Lotus?
Yeah, map
Yeah.
Lotus.
Let me see. Cool Ace. All right.
Probably one of the
Yeah,
best
this was
I've seen.
the
Lotus.
Chichoo.
Chichoo
Map.
Ace.
The Chichoo map, yes.
Masterclass.
That ace was
Holy.
unbelievable. So
Yeah.
clean. That's what I'm saying. This guy, man, his aim is just like it just looks like it's effortless. One of those players where you think, I want that style of aim. You know?
Yeah, yeah. I think I ended up. I do not remember the last half, the attacking side for EDG at all.
Yeah, I don't know. This map is a blank in my head, actually.
The best thing about the Chichoo ace wasn't even him acing, it's Kang Kang's reaction in the background. It's the funniest.
Oh yes, I do remember.
True.
That. I do remember that.
That was the funniest
He's like
part.
shaking him.
He's like he's like mind blown.
What
What the fuck is going on?
He's like
Yo,
pogging.
you play better than me right
I
now,
remember
come
that.
on.
Yeah.
I mean, attack half was just like kind of a wash, no? Like they got their guns up and then they didn't lose.
Yeah.
And then like it was
It wasn't like
crazy.
one round where it's like Heretic should have won it.
Eh.
They sort of threw. I don't know if
Oh, it was like a 3K, right?
I can't remember.
Yeah.
It was like a 3K clutch.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
oh,
messed
it was
up
the-
somewhere.
It was the Killjoy lockdown.
Oh yes, it was
round,
Simon. It was
Simon.
Simon. So they had they hadn't planted yet, but they put the KJ ult down on B, like that little cubby in B right
Yeah.
before you enter site. So they ulted, and I think Simon's like 30 HP or something like that. So he's literally like one shot, and then for some reason they start like jiggle peeking on the entrance of B, and Simon isolates every fight.
Yeah,
Doesn't get hit for
it was like
anything.
3 seconds left, and he's still in the ult. Like he just like if Benji managed to get back round the corner, he just like Simon just loses because he gets detained.
Yeah.
That round, I think that was the round that sort of broke him because it was an eco and they used the ult. Obviously, it's a 2-1, so you probably should use it. But yeah, that was just unfortunate that Benji couldn't get back. Right, you could see he's trying to get back around the corner, but Simon swings him.
Yeah. And the crazy thing to me is that during this entire map, I was watching FNS's stream for the game. But man, people were shitting on Simon the entire game. And I'm like, damn, like that must suck. Like having like that many people say like you're bad just because like you're not IGL, and then like you clutch up like that like key round. That's like insane to me.
I mean, it's his first international
Yeah.
tournament. He
Yeah.
joined like 25th of June or July,
Like a
and
month
like
ago.
it's crazy. And I don't think people understand how good Simon is. He might not have like the best stats, but he has, if I think on average people have like 0.3 assists per round. Simon averages 0.5. Simon has a 0.2 like more assists than every other player. Like what? How? How is he so good at getting assists? Like
Well,
crazy,
you know,
no?
when he does a stun, you know Kang Kang's going to get the kill. So
True.
if he does a perfect stun, you know, I mean, he's setting up Kang Kang perfectly every time. Especially, I mean, Sunset was the prime example of that.
Yeah.
And also, before even like champs started, he only played 6 games with the team, like officially,
Right.
like beforehand. So
Yeah.
like, it's kind of crazy how quickly he's first like integrated into the team, but then also is a core like support player.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
It kind of reminds me of like how teams would be structured like back in the day with the old Jet, like how CNED would have his support player, like I think it was Six or something, and like it would be CNED and Six, and they would do everything together. Like they would take space, they would like trade each other, everything. Like this version of EDG reminds me so much of like we have one duelist, let's set him up as much as possible, and then like everyone else can just kind of hold their own.
Yeah, it's like the
it's
style
crazy.
that fell out of fashion, right?
Yeah.
Now and they've brought it back. Whereas the Heretics is like the opposite team. Like Mini Boo's the one who's creating space for everyone else, and allowing him to get traded. Rather, Kang Kang is one who is literally everyone's setting up for him. So yeah, it's great. You see two different styles in the grand final when it goes that far. You want the variety. You don't want everyone to play the same. To be honest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just, and this is like in map 5, I guess, like Abyss, but I really liked how both teams kind of just kept filling space. Like they weren't really like a lot of the times. I feel like teams that are kind of relying more on just like technical skill kind of are too passive a lot of the time. They don't re-clear spots. Like that's what Team Heretics, and that's why people kind of dislike G2 because they're really good at re-clearing at like on defense. Yeah, I just really like how both teams were just playing very fundamentally well, but with like two different styles.
Heretics has this thing of like they leave Boo or Riens or Benjyfishy. I think it's Boo and Benjyfishy most of the time alone on one side, and then they stack up on the
Yeah.
the other way, and they're so good at it. They're so consistently good at just like finding these tiny little gaps and just like threading the needle every time. It's crazy.
I mean, even on defense where they do the one person stack, they put like 4 people that always get like it's like 70%. They're always guessing where the site hits is coming from. It's what they did against Sentinels on Abyss. They were like, they would leave Benji or they would leave Boo, and they'd all rotate to one side, and they didn't know because of the info they gathered or the space they've taken. And then Sentinels don't re-clear with it. They know like they can just stack on these one sites. And it's always they have there's always a high chance that they're right because of the fundamentals they play.
Yeah. Any other notes about Lotus?
Not about Lotus, but isn't nobody the IGL? I thought nobody was calling.
I don't think so. I think it was I think it's Simon.
Damn, that's impressive. I thought Simon was just there and nobody took over the IGL role, but I don't remember. Maybe. I mean,
I thought it was.
It is nobody.
I thought it was nobody. It was
It is
IGL.
nobody.
so nobody's
What?
IGLing, and then Simon is just being a beast support player.
Yeah, it's just support, just hard support.
Wow.
Yeah, because they had Howdong. Because Howdong was their IGL, and then
How long was this? Was he assistant coaching?
he's like
Sven?
a coach
He's
now.
coach
I
now,
think.
yeah.
Yeah, he's like
Yeah, he is.
which
Dude.
probably helped a lot in the team
Can-
to get Simon implemented.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to say, like, going from player to coach, I think those are probably like the best coaches for teams. Like, they know what goes on in players' heads, and they like have a feel for the in-game side of things.
Well, if
It's
I think
crazy.
Howdong might get. I don't know if Howdong goes to another team or he stays as coach. I'm interested to see where he'll go.
He'll
I
probably
could-
just stay coach.
I could
Yeah.
also see him going and like leading another team in China. Like, there's a lot of teams that would be open for him to play IGL because I remember him being like a pretty
Trace
like solid player. Like, I didn't think he was terrible.
Trace really needs him.
I mean,
Yeah,
there's a lot of Chinese teams that need the IGLs.
yeah, that's their
Wolves,
problem.
mate. Get them on Wolves. Get them Wolves.
Wolverhampton.
All right.
Let's go.
Yeah, well,
My favorite map of the night, Bind.
yeah,
This was fucking crazy. I thought it was over for EDG after like round like 18 19, and then they did the comeback thing, and then they lost on the last round. It was like the most crazy round 2 because Kang Kang aced into a loss.
One molly. It was
Yeah.
his face when he just sees them dying in front of him to the molly. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, I've done all of that. We just lost this map.
The wingman was so close to getting half as well. If the wingman
Yeah.
could have gotten half, that would have been round changing. That would have been crazy.
Yeah, and then there was the one. It was almost like an identical like play setup, but they had planted default, and then Team Heretics like they threw the molly through short, and two players for ADG go up and like basically act like a wall to bounce the molly off of
Yeah, that round
themselves.
was
That
you
was
booted it.
crazy. I
Well,
never seen that in my life.
Like it's like prime Buffon right there. That was insane.
Like, what's it called? That's the round before, no? Or like 2 rounds. It's like
Yeah,
round
Yeah,
21
it was
or
the round
something,
before.
or round 23. But it's
Yeah.
like it's the fact that they end up in the same position. It's a replay of the same round, and it's so close to like the result is so close. Like, oh,
yeah, I
What
was
map? It was
awake.
probably one of the best maps of the tournament.
Yeah, one of the most fun. I don't know,
Yeah.
like not technically sound, but like
It was very
man,
scrappy. There was the one round where Simon just rushes through the smoke backside and gets like a 3k.
yeah.
That was some scrappy. And he does it again.
And
On the
even the
next
last round, like you think, oh, Team Heretics, they have their ult down. It's over. Like the Viper's Pit. How do you counter the Viper's Pit? And then they use the
the
thrash
fade pool.
to like
Oh, yeah.
clear out the Viper's Pit, and then you're like, holy shit, like it's over for Team Heretics. And then they move back and they do the Molly thing, and you're like, fuck, like you don't know, like you're changing like every 5 seconds. So we're like, oh, we're here, oh, we're
Pure
gone,
chaos.
oh, we're back. So
this is what grand finals should be like.
exactly.
No
Yeah.
3-0, no nothing of that. 5 maps, close every time.
Absolute
Oh,
scrappy
yes.
mud Valorant. That's what we want.
Yeah. Big oily men wrestling in mud Valorant.
Hey, mud wrestling.
Yes. Um yeah, this was my favorite map. I was awake, like, you know, the some of the other maps I was kind of EP, but this one I
Yeah,
was
this
like
one, you
wide
can't
awake
eat.
for it. Yeah. This was a banger. And then Abyss, the final map where
It's rough to watch as a Heretics fan, you know.
yeah.
EDT fan, it's great to watch.
Yeah, but like even then, like yeah, the first half of the map was rough
The
for Team
comeback was
Heretics,
like, okay, it's
but the
doable.
comeback,
And then Kang Kang just does the insane Guardian 4K.
dude.
That was
This is
crazy.
why I
Pushes him
have
out
it.
of the air.
Yeah, the second shot, unbelievable.
I could,
I was
yeah.
like, oh, they're on the half bar, you know, should be all right.
It's,
Kang
it's
Kang does that.
always ecos. It's
It's
always
yeah,
the
the
eco.
eco. Sorry, this game was ridiculous. The amount of ecos happened.
It's
Mastercard, like, they're loving it. They're loving it. Is it
And
Mastercard? Right.
yeah,
Is it
50. Yeah,
I'm trying to find it.
So it's round 21. What's it called?
Oh,
Someone
too far.
mentioned how like um Team Heretics were saying that like duelists like ASPAS, like calculated duelists, are a lot easier to deal with because you can like predict what they're gonna
Yeah.
do. But
Yeah.
people like Kang Kang and EDG just sending it at you. Like Limpro swung a corner with a guardian and got 4. What am I supposed to do? Like
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, one taps you mid-air whilst you're up drafting. This
Yeah,
man
look
is
at this.
ridiculous.
This was like a total like momentum killer. Like
Yeah.
I jumped out of my bed when I saw this. I was like,
Such a great round.
holy shit.
Because I was
Yeah.
thinking, like,
Look at his
there was,
face. Look at
there
his
was a
face.
very high. If they had lost that round, there was a very high possibility that Heretics were going to come back.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
like-
I was it was in the group chat and I was like, hey guys, like I think this might go like 11-11, like possibly overtime. And as soon as this happened, I was like, it's done. It's done.
It's moments like this where I'm like, I feel really good about that prediction I made in the beginning of the year, being like, Shine is gonna lift a trophy, and then he does this. I'm like, I feel validated.
You're the prophet. Knew it all along.
The script
I
writer.
I
Yeah,
can't take that much credit, but like you know, that was like crazy. And I have a like, it's a little bit less related maybe, but it's like no wait, I'll ask that later. Actually, yeah, it
You
doesn't
you were in China before Ardis, you know. You never swap sides.
matter.
Yeah.
You know.
I like my preseason prediction. I had EDG lifting a trophy. It was just hopium for Shanghai,
Shanghai, yeah.
but
Yeah, I really wanted them to win Shanghai because
that's
hometown
and then they
victories are
bombed
like
out.
the best.
Yeah, it's like they bombed out of Shanghai pretty badly, and then they do this. It's even more impressive.
I thought Shanghai was going to be the beginning of the end of like their superiority just in like China, like not even thinking about them
Yeah,
winning.
because FPX did pretty well.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought like FPX would do good. Well, I thought they were like whoever else like was gonna like. I thought Trace would probably do pretty good. Not Trace, but like better than EDG. I thought EDG was just gonna get destroyed in champs.
Yeah, I think I talked about it in my haters guide when I was talking about EDG, and it was the fact that like they felt like they were failing like downwards, or they were succeeding downwards, where like it doesn't matter like what they do in China, like what like crazy comps or like strategies they try, like they're still winning. And I
Yeah.
think things kind of were like taken out of perspective, especially for stage 2. I think like a lot of the Chinese teams probably like played better than it was EDG playing worse.
Well, their head coach recently, like before champs or maybe even before Shanghai, in an interview was saying like, "Oh yeah, we've never really found our own style. We've just been trying to like every time we go to an event, we replicate like a different top team.
Right.
Like we try to do like we don't have an identity." And I guess now they said like I don't remember which event before it was, but they said they were just going to do what they like they're what's best for them, and it's kind
That
of
worked out.
like what teams have to do. You got to stop
Yeah.
chasing after coattails.
Yeah. You have to define your own meta, whether it works out or not. Like that's why teams like Loud did last year, and they did really good. Before that it was Optic. They were kind of like really early on in the chamber.
Yeah. And then
So
also their map pool is really good.
yeah. So yeah, I think EDG definitely caught me by surprise this tournament, but hey,
They caught everyone.
I'm
to be
pretty
honest.
happy. And they ended up
Cool.
lifting a trophy, so
That's
But
cool.
do they have the champions curse? Will the team
Will
fall
they
apart
break
next
up?
year?
absolutely not.
Yeah,
Eh,
I thought it'd be interesting.
I'll give them a 10% chance they fall apart.
Like, what if something happens? EDG as a company just dispersed.
Edwards choose.
I mean,
no.
Big Edward.
I don't
he's
know
meant to burn
Chinese
down.
socioeconomics, but I'm pretty sure they're pretty heavily invested in their
I
esports.
assume so. They shouldn't.
EDG is like crazy. They have a bank. They
Yeah.
have a money.
Yeah, they have like a whole tower, don't they?
Yeah, they have. Like
They're in a
I think
building.
it's something like the owners are like real estate investors or something. They have like crazy money. Like it's nuts.
Yeah, I mean,
Mr.
They should
Edward
break the
himself.
China's gonna blow up. Like that's what I'm saying. 3 years it's over. Back it
Hmm.
up. China's won everything. Just because of this win,
Like League, it'll just be Korea and China.
League.
Oh
Yeah.
no! We had our time. North America,
Yeah,
Americas.
it's over.
Nah, Americas will be back. I think the roster shuffle this year will change.
Well, I just hope that it's not too much of a shuffle for the big teams, like in
I think
America,
G2 should say exactly how they are.
because I think teams need to keep building with like their teams, like more
Maybe
than
maybe everyone's a bit too like reactive. You know.
yeah. I kind of want to see like that's why I hope Lev stays together because I kind of want to see if they can do something.
I think Lev and G2 will probably stay pretty much intact. I think probably everybody else like is going to
Everyone's
do some sort of
Saucy's
change.
probably gonna leave Sentinels.
Yeah,
I think.
Nah.
his contract's up and they haven't extended it.
And there's a lot of other NA talent that they could bring in.
EU would be a good one.
I mean,
EU would be a very good
yeah.
player to play for Sentinels.
I mean, if Sentinels
Sentinels.
wants to keep top tier initiator, they just get narrate.
Be on the rate, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm high on narrate. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I'm high on narrate.
Yeah, he's class.
He's really good.
What's it called? I think it's I think esports is in a weird spot where it's like you almost want a player type coach, where like someone that knows the game to be their coach, but it's also like no player wants to be coach. You know, like it's in the weird spot where like I think if they have a system with players and coaches that are bought in for a longer term thing, like Team Heretics or like EDG, it's like it will work out. But there's no immediate player that wants to be a coach, because coaching gets like no credit and only dissed, and it's so much work. It's crazy amount of work you have to do all the time.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, you're starting to see it with like chat. Like a lot of people were like pretty harsh on chat this year. I mean, there's some validity to what they're saying, but pretty harsh regardless.
yeah.
Like he's still like
was
pretty
he's going to Cloud9,
right
everyone
mind.
rumored, or was it Cloud9 he was rumored to go to?
The rumor, I don't know if that's a rumor. I think that's a meme.
Is
I
it
think
me?
the rumor is that he's going back to Counter-Strike.
CS?
HLTV reported on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the rumor is CS, but the meme is Cloud9.
Yeah,
The meme? Let's see.
Marv, yay. I
That
can't
was
remember.
that was a meme, right? Or
Yeah, I'm
was that
pretty sure
real?
that was a meme.
Yeah. I have a question for you guys, actually. When it comes to Abyss, there's been a lot of it's been a trend to like what do you think of jumping off the map?
Hey,
Basically.
like, right, you put that in the game, people are going to abuse it. Like,
I'm
Yeah.
just surprised teams didn't do that before if they're going to be like really.
Okay. Yeah. To
Because
be
why would you
honest,
not?
yeah. To be honest, like I don't particularly care too much. In my upcoming video, I'm talking about the G2's end of the season, and the one thing I noted is like it was 9-4 or something like that, or 4-9. Like G2 were down like a lot. I don't understand why they didn't try to do an anti-eco instead of just like giving them another round, because then a 10-4 gap is just like I don't know
I think that
what, but like when you
I think
switch
the
from that,
idea behind like jumping on is just deny all those ult points and stop people getting momentum.
yeah,
It's the same thing with like dying to the bomb, but it's just quicker.
It's
Yeah, I
economic
mean-
advantage too, right? It's like
Yeah.
they buy their stingers and stuff, and then they don't get to use them, so they are stuck with them for the bonus, and like things like that. But I think the better version of the strategy is probably what Team Heretics and Fnatic did, where like they gamble stack one side, and then they're like, "Oh, they didn't come here. Let's just jump
Yeah,
up
jump off.
and
Yeah.
not give them
Yeah.
anything."
Yeah. I mean, it only happened like 3 times, right, or 4 times, so it wasn't happening a lot.
I think teams should try to do something, and then maybe if you lose like one or two players, like maybe the round's chalked at that point, then you jump off. But just jumping off like right away is like,
I mean, if they
What?
wanted to stop people doing it, they would give you like a money penalty for jumping off.
Like for
oh
suicide.
no, yeah, that's true, that's true.
If
But
Riot wanted, like, if Riot want, not
I
like
don't- I
not
don't-
like a fine, but like a in-game credit.
Yeah.
Like,
like
like
I-
a fine would be the dumbest thing. Like, right, you put this in the game, like people are
Yeah.
gonna just use it.
I think the community reacting the way they did, or like tweets and stuff like that, I don't understand. I'm like, it's a strategy. It's just like buying the Odin and spamming on Lotus. Like,
It's because
know?
it's G2.
Yeah.
Like
They
Because
are
they're-
if it
boring.
was Paper
people-
Rex, everyone would think, "Oh, it's so funny."
Yeah,
the analogy
they
I
are-
used is G2 is the kid that is exclusively book smart.
Well, he's like the legal kid, well, actually, you could do that. Like,
they are
and
the team
I
that
like
plays boring
G2.
Valorant, but that's their style. It's not boring, but I'm not a G2. I love G2 as a team.
To
But
bring it to like a basketball, like NBA, I think of it like the San Antonio Spurs. They're just like kind of structured and like they could be really, really good, but they're kind of like boring to watch at
So what
times.
would be the football analogy of that? I was gonna say
To
Man
me-
City, but
Teams.
they win everything.
To
Just
me, it's
defensive
more
team.
the movie Moneyball,
Oh.
where it's statistics.
Football, not football. Got it.
Yeah, not American football. I don't know. I don't know. American football would be like the Miami Dolphins. I'm just randomly throwing it out there.
I don't know. I have no idea who.
I don't know anything about American football.
Okay. Anything else about grand finals? Did we cover everything?
Yeah, I think so.
I have
Okay.
one thing I want to say. Kang
Alright.
Kang went plus 39 in a best of 5.
Yeah.
With
Oh yeah, we
24
didn't
to
count that.
24 in first kills, first deaths. He went 1 for 1 in first kills, first deaths, and still went plus 39 in a best of 5.
He also broke 2 records. He broke the most first kills on a series, and he broke the overall kill record.
In a best of
I
5,
have a
right?
question.
Yeah, in a best of 5.
Does Kang Kang have a higher peak than ASPAS and texture?
Ooh.
I mean, yeah,
Then
hypothetically,
texture?
yes.
Yes.
But it's hard to compare.
I think it's fair to compare texture. It's like texture was pretty recent, right, with his peak in Shanghai. I think he probably has a higher peak than texture at the moment, but that I don't think that means that texture can't go higher. I think we haven't
Yeah.
seen the end of texture, but I think he has surpassed. I think it's hard to say ASPAS, right, because it's different now. Like
Yeah.
Well,
I
they're
mean,
one
for me,
and one.
ASPAS and texture have pretty similar styles in the way they play. They're both methodically based players, like you were saying earlier with the heretics knowing how to counter ASPAS, and the same thing with texture. I was just thinking like Kang Kang's like so rawly mechanically gifted that sometimes like he's playing his own style that just diffs everyone. I was thinking like,
I'm looking
is
at
that a higher peak than the methodical base play style?
ASPAS's run like when they won like champs, and it wasn't like he was always at the very top as the duelist, and he was like it was a lot of like Les doing really good. Pincata, Saucy in the grand finals was like the MVP, and to me that's like his kind of peak
Yeah.
ability, and that's why I'm like
Maybe Kang Kang is
Yeah,
higher
Yeah.
peak.
I think people forget that like this whole like EDG team was, I mean, I know it sounds kind of rude, but they were kind of carried by Kang Kang. Like Kang Kang probably was the major decider on this
Yeah.
series. Whereas like Loud in 2022, you had Saucy in the conversation for best initiator. You had Pancata in the conversation for best smokes players, and you had Aspas in the discussion for best duelist.
And then Les, who
That
was in
team was
discussion for the best player in the world.
stacked.
well, because we didn't even know if ASPAS was the best player on that team because we were like, oh,
Yeah.
Les is like insane.
Yes,
So like,
Les too.
who's the best player on this team? Like,
Like-
we know that Kang Kang is the best player on this team.
And hot take, Sadak. Well, maybe it's not hot, but Sadak is the best IGL in the world, hands down.
Yeah.
He does funky things. I think his
I don't know, I'm
his
gonna say
ideas are
Steel.
always really.
Steel's the best RG in the world.
Steal my goat.
No, when you have a coaching staff that actually has a pair of balls to tell the players what to do, and Sadak exclusively focuses on IGLing, then yes.
Mm-hmm.
I think Sadak is probably up there, but I don't know if I would rate him as the best. I still think like Boaster and like Boosty are pretty high up there. I don't know.
Yes,
I haven't thought about it.
I just think in 2022 he was the best IG. Like the ideas that they were coming up with at that time, and that's why like Aspas is his peak. That's why maybe I've never really focused on him as much. I know he's like the GOAT, and, like he's great mechanically, but I've never really focused in on him as much as like other duelists. Like I think I focus more on Zekken sometimes, even though I think
Yeah. I mean, Zekken's also has an insane peak as well. I mean, Durka again, another one with an insane peak.
And Turkey had the highest ACS of the tournament, no?
Yeah, his playoffs was ridiculous.
I mean,
think it's
Fnatic, my goats.
I think it's safe to say like the peak is probably the highest it's ever been. Like this is the
Yes.
highest peak a single player has ever had.
Yeah,
Yes.
you know, in a best of 5. Yeah,
Yeah, with like all the stakes, because no one else has had a better grand finals, like like world
maybe
championship.
like Demon 1, like last year.
Mm,
The grand
No,
final was pretty
because even
insane.
then Jaw was doing all of the entries
That's
for him.
true. That's true.
I mean, the whole team was popping off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Boostio was being crazy, like as a fragging IGL. Yeah, I honestly I think right now it would have to be Kang Kang's performance. That was
Yes, I agree. I want to circle back on what Seth said when he said that Kang Kang was carrying the team. I agree, but I think the way that EGG is structured, it's kind of like it's structured in the way where Kang Kang should be carrying. You know, everyone is there to like help
Set him
Kang
up.
Kang perform
Yeah.
his best.
well. I think Chichoo is like I keep going back to him. I just think he's a really good player. I think we'll hear we'll continue to see him do a lot of great things next year and the year. Like I think mechanically he's really gifted. He can get multi kills, which is what you need in like a player like that to back up Kang Kang, who will also get multi kills.
He's
Yes.
got like all the top controllers like we've seen throughout the years. He's got that like the same mechanical style. Less is the same thing where he's tap shooting, he's strafing, tap shooting, strafing, tap. Mako does the exact same thing where they're just like three bulleting. It's like you can see it in the ace where he's just it's like target selection is so good. It's like I know it's something about controllers and they have this like all the top controllers have this like this style of aim that's very like similar if you look at like all different the controllers.
Mm.
Like
Very.
even TenZ this year on Omen was doing the same thing. I mean TenZ has a more tendency to spray, but he's still like it's like tap shooting. So it's really good.
It's very Alexander-esque, like
Yeah,
calm
yeah.
aim style.
That's the
I have a
so
question for you
consistent.
guys.
Hmm.
Who is gonna be the best Wise player when Wise comes out?
FNS.
FNS. No, Jay will be. Why not Benji?
I think it's gonna be one of the Viper players like Riens or
Oh,
someone like that. I think she's gonna fill that gap.
I think
That's
I don't know. It's really hard. Vice like barely been out. The style is kind of flexible. Like
She has
yeah.
like a well, okay, I guess we could transition into the next topic, which is the Vice reveal. So, 2 days before the grand final, we saw a teaser for Vice. The following day, we got pretty much all of her abilities shown off, and she is a Sentinel. She has three abilities. One is a metal wall that can be placed on any vertical surface, similar to a trip, but when when the enemy player crosses the line, a metal wall comes up, isolating them. Um, that's pretty much it as far as that ability. She has like a razor wire, which is basically kind of like a Cypher's cage when it activates. Basically, like a player walks into it, the cage activates, but like the razor wire activates and it slows the enemy, but it also damages them, but only when they're moving. And then the last one is this is her default ability, and it's a flash that you can pre-place, and you can place it like behind a wall to go across a wall, or you could just put it on a wall as well. And then her ult is 8 orbs, and it deactivates all of the enemy's primary weapons. So no Vandal, no Phantom, none of those like primary weapons. It's just pistols. So
I've seen a lot of people confused and think that I can just swap a gun. No, there's a bar on the screen when you get tagged by it that like slowly drains, kind of like the jet dash, and you can't use your primary until that bar is gone or you die. Like you can't just swap to pistol and then back.
No, you can't dodge it, right? I was like, I was thinking if there was a bug where if you dropped your gun and you picked it back up again, you could use it, but they probably thought of, you know, and there is a bug, there is a current bug with Vice where the Euroclone doesn't activate the wall, and I think it was supposed to. So there are bugs.
Andy, you're muted.
And yeah,
You're muted.
and you're muted.
You can't hear us.
Oh no.
Man, can you bait out the wall? Like,
Yeah, you can Yoru bait out the wall.
oh,
But
okay.
yeah,
That's
it's currently
what I-
bugged at the moment. It doesn't work. From what I was
Oh,
seeing.
okay.
Is
'Cause I
it
was wondering if
visual
it-
or is it based on
oh.
sound?
Well, it's like a line. If you walk over the line,
Yeah,
Mhm.
so I think it's
it's a
visual.
walking thing.
It looks kind of good. The wall looks kind of strong.
My question is, does a sky dog activate it? Because that's or wingman. Those are like the only two other
Wingman
things
doesn't.
that walk.
Wingman doesn't.
Okay,
I
so
think,
then the sky dog wouldn't either.
Yeah,
That
I
makes
think
no
it's
sense.
either bugged because I saw someone test out the Euroclone and it didn't do it, and then one of the devs was like, "Yeah, that's a bug." So I'm assuming that maybe
They'll
other
fix it,
stuff
yeah.
was
That-
also bugged.
It's just gonna be released on Tuesday American time, so
Yeah, they'll
it'll be
fix it.
fixed. My initial thoughts is this doesn't quite help the game avoid the retake meta, because I feel like what teams are going to do is they're either going to alternate between a KO ult and a Vice ult, or they're just going to use both to like secure a round, like a crucial round.
Yeah, I mean, she looks pretty strong from what I've seen. The razor wire ability looks pretty crazy on post plants because I don't think it's destroyable. Am I right there?
It's not.
Can you? Yeah, that's like I can imagine like a fade pull mixed with that. There's a bunch of different combos you can do. Like imagine Astra Suck. Do you take damage when you get pulled from the? I'm assuming you do, right?
Yes, because you have to be moving.
Yeah,
And if you're moving, you're taking damage.
Yeah, surely. Like it's not just player movement; it's like environment movement. So this is like the post plant meta is gonna be strong with this character.
Yeah, but I also don't think she replaces like Killjoy in terms
No,
of
she's not.
like Molly protection,
It's gonna be
like post plant.
maybe a possible double Sentinel. You know,
Yeah.
like we already have on Abyss with the foot comp.
I could definitely see us going more towards like a Sentinel meta, especially with how like retaking and everything has kind of gone down, like delaying.
Yeah. And this is kind of what I'm like really worried about, is that we have so much utility that cannot be shot or like
I think she'll get a nerf.
destroyed. The like my biggest concerns are Harbor's bubble, like is a thing. ISO has the indestructible wall. Vice has this indestructible wall now. It seems like we're getting a lot of things that like can't be dealt with. That's my biggest concern about the game. Is that in isolation, like these things have not been strong by themselves, but it's going to take some crazy team to put all of these things together and figure out that like indestructible utility is going to be a meta.
Well, yeah, it's because it sets the precedent. Like now it's out there, so now like it's gonna be more and more happening. Because like before we had nerfed like Sage's wall. Like people don't remember, but when Sage's wall was like unbelievably broken and everyone complained about it back in like 2020, and then that's where I think that's why they started going with stuff that was like more easily breakable, like things that you can shoot down, just because people were like so pissed at that. But now we're back to it again.
And guys, flashes can't be shot either anymore. I'd like to remind you guys of that you could shoot a sky flash before.
She's gonna be a very annoying agent to play against.
She's gonna be, yeah. Like I
No,
definitely, she's not gonna be just like dead like half the agents that get.
I'm thank God that we've got an agent that's actually playable when on release, because you had Deadlock, no one played on release. ISO, they were playing ISO.
ISO was
wasn't
kind of bad at the beginning. Like he had nothing really at the beginning, and then they made it like a little bit
yeah.
too
The buff
powerful.
obviously made it very strong.
ISO Stage
Gecko,
2 was just disgusting.
Oh yeah, Gecko was nothing. Like
yeah, if you remember Gecko, like at the beginning, no one played Gecko because the recall times were way too long, and the ult took like 20 seconds to come back. So yeah, thank God we got an agent that's probably going to be like a lot of people are going to play.
like Clove is being used, but I don't think people really should use Clove.
Clove has a high pick rate in ranked, but even in pro play, there was like not
pick
many
rate's
teams.
decent.
Yeah, in ranked, the pick rate is decent, but in pro play,
I mean, some people play her on
No,
like FX player, and on Lotus she's played.
yeah,
She's
in like
played
double,
like a decent amount.
yeah.
But I think it's best to not. I think in what I'm gonna do for the new agent is just like keep an open mind and then be like aware of what's happening, because I don't want to be too positive or too negative about it, because I feel like it can go either way. It all depends on what teams come up with, right? Like
Yeah.
it could be the end of like the super exec heavy, like everyone stack outside A main ascent, and then we full send like every piece of utility we have, we just take the site and everyone plays retake, and then it's just like retake battle or whatever. It could end that, and it could also like, because you can try and bait out the wall, right? You have to try and bait it out and then go, and then like it creates a more of a push and pull, I think, or it could. So like,
I just want to see what's
I'm optimistically
in-game.
happy.
I think it could be really good on like a map like that wall on like Sunset for like if you're attacking and then you're moving back into what side is that? Is that B or A? But either way, like you could use that wall and then like the first person getting cross like on the retake would just get isolated.
I was thinking like Ascent A site Heaven. You put it across when you've planted the bomb. You put it across. So if like the jet runs out with an AWP to try and get a pick, the wall closes behind them, and you just stuck there.
That's what I think. Like
I think you gotta be pretty creative on attack with this agent, but I think it's gonna be fun. I want to see what's like in the game, like playing it in a couple of weeks. See what people come up with.
It might definitely change up how like dive agents kind of.
Yeah, I think it's gonna. I think it was, to be honest, I think it was kind of created to counter dive.
Yeah,
what it looks like.
Yeah, if you dive, you're isolated.
Yeah,
you're done.
isolated very quickly.
To me,
Judge
it
Jamal's out of a
feels
job.
like to me, it kind of feels like she is a little bit like supplementary to Deadlock, right? She feels like she's very good with Deadlock. Like they complement each other kind of well, at least from my understanding of the abilities and stuff. But like, I don't know. I'm kind of like, again, positively excited about it, or optimistic, like about where we're going with this.
Yeah, definitely agent that needs to be combined with other teammates' utility to, especially ult, to be like effective. Because you get one tap by a sheriff anyway. It doesn't matter sometimes. But if you like mixing with breach or Sova, whether like I'm thinking like the ult you gotta it's gonna be harder for them to shoot your util. So if you have the Sova dart, you know exactly where they are. You can it's gonna be interesting.
Well, I was just thinking like Alfier would probably be a pretty decent person to use.
Yeah,
because
he loves to peek Y swing on the Sentinel. He loves it.
Not only that, he was also playing ISO very effectively, and like he almost never lost his ISO 1v1s.
He loves to take duels. This is a character that like looks like is gonna, especially with the flash, allows them to take duels better than other Sentinels.
You can create your own fights without being like
trolling.
Yeah, like that wall is just gonna be that's gonna be interesting. I'm really excited to see how it goes.
It's
too
really
bad we
wide
had such
too.
a long off season.
Yeah, I mean, this is stuff we could talk about like in the next episode, but I'm pretty excited about the off season. I'm hoping like Red Bull Home Ground it ends up being like our like fourth international event of sorts.
I think Ascension and Game Changers should have Vives, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna be big.
Yeah, there's
I,
this,
I'm
but
making.
yeah, I want an like tier 1 off-season event that actually like matters.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
Yeah.
gonna be a couple
home
of
ground.
like pretty good events on the off season. I'm
Because
pretty
they
sure.
have Ludwig and Tarek Invitational. There's home ground. There's also gonna.
I think Leviatan might be a World Cup. That's what they
I-
were rumored. That's what you were saying. Should be pretty epic.
That'd be cool. Yeah, I'm just excited to see what people can do that's outside of the Riot led.
Yeah. I hope it's not too gimmicky. There's a lot of
Yeah.
gimmick tournaments, which kind of
But yeah, I'm excited to see this agent, see what teams can do with it.
Okay. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna ask, do you guys still think that ISO's like, yeah, ISO got nerfed and he's weaker, but don't you guys think that the way Fnatic is playing ISO on Haven, for example, is it just because they have an alpha year, or is it because like he's still kind of strong? Like, I think more teams could make ISO work if they could play it more like Fnatic.
I think it was because Neon buff is also like people worked it out to like play Neon on a team. Neon's so strong right now. I think ISO got put in the back for a little bit, but I think ISO is still pretty strong.
Yeah, I think it's less that like ISO is like bad. It's more of like, well, you could be using like
Neon.
like a different duelist to like, because usually with I haven't really watched too much of Fnatic's matches, but like do they have? Who else do they have on that?
Dirk is playing another duelist right at the same time.
Yeah, they
Yeah, so that's like
They're playing
my
double duelist. That's why they can allow to get away with it. Because ISO solo duels is so hard.
yeah.
EVG could do it now with Smoggy and
Yeah.
Kang Kang.
Yeah. I mean, China anyway whips out some crazy comps sometimes. So I wouldn't be surprised if, like Wolves put out, the ISO Raise Neon comp 3 duelist.
True.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about the VCT 2025 season. So, the big highlight of this is that not only are we moving the season to start in January, but we're ending the season in October. Like mid late October.
You got a big
What are you
break.
guys' initial thoughts about this?
Good.
It's very good, I think.
Yeah,
I think the main issue with this year was the small break between Shanghai and Stage 2, which was Shanghai? Yeah, it was Shanghai, right?
Well, yeah,
Stage
like
2.
Benji played within like the week, like they won and then they had to go back and play.
Yeah,
like
you can see it in their group stage, like the Stage 2. They clearly were a little bit burnt out. They weren't playing to the same level, and then
Yeah, they went like 3-3 or something like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really happy about this because content creation was really bad. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just for me, but I felt like I really didn't have a lot of time to like make these timed videos. A lot of my content is timed, so I have to like kind of be on top of it and like release it with like appropriate amount of time. And I felt like I was just releasing content like 2 days before like international events, so it never like was allowed to like sit there and like accumulate views and hype. It was just like, oh, here's the IL in like 2 days, here's my video, and then like it was just gone.
Well, the thing is like things were happening so quickly, and
Yeah.
so many things would happen, like so many storylines, so many interesting things would happen at like a Masters event that people are still trying to digest, and we already started the like split. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just kind of zone out for the first week or two of the split because we just had Masters, which was like a lot of fun, and now we're back to like matches that don't necessarily matter as much.
And then like I think it doesn't help as well that like it's every region all at once, go, and then international, and then it's like 2-day break, and then all regions go, and it's like someone that likes to watch like multiple regions. It's so hard to keep up with everything because it's like 3 days a week every region, right? And they have like different like weekends are usually NA, and then it's like Monday and stuff is like Pacific and EMEA, and then it's like it feels like it's so much to watch, and then like I watch it, and then I don't get time to like, oh, in this stage, like, oh, this happened. It's like, oh, the stage happened, and now it's international, and then the next stage happens. And I'm like, I haven't completed the first stage yet, guys. Calm down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just because like Sliggy was watching everything, and he physically couldn't because there's so many games that were overlapping in each other. Like it was just
I
too
don't know
much.
how that man does it. It's
I don't.
ridiculous.
It's
Man's
crazy.
a
What is he
legend.
gonna do for 5 months? Like not with that schedule anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, let's get some sleep.
Yeah,
Probably, yeah.
but like I wanted to follow multiple like leagues. I could only follow in it like Americas,
America's.
really. Like not because I couldn't stay up for games. It's just because I needed to focus on the matches, understand kind of what's going on, and then the next week matches already started again. Like it was just, and then I'm trying. Yeah, it was just this season was very chaotic and very compressed, and I think players, coaches, creators, fans all felt it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think everyone was a bit of a crunch. But I think this next season is going to be a lot better. Honestly, like my interest in like stage 2 like pretty much plummeted. Like I was not very like I was in tune, but like I was definitely more casual than I was with stage 1, where I feel like things like mattered quite a bit more. And I think this was like one of the key things that they ended up fixing this season, this upcoming season, is that stage 2 is now like independent from stage 1. I don't know how they're going to format it. I don't know if we're getting more games. They haven't gone that much into detail, but I assume we might still be on like alpha omega format. It'll just be more spaced out now.
Well, now it's more easy because all the leagues are at like
12.
12.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's not as weird like 11.
Also, I think like I don't know. I think that this type of schedule is like someone mentioned in the beginning. This is probably a lot healthier for everybody. Like the
Yeah.
TOs, the like us, the viewers, and the players. Like I think, like for example, like stage 1 in kickoff, teams that did well there, they had like what they could take a chill pill or like relax stage 2, and now it's like stage 2 actually matters for everyone, not just the teams that still want to qualify, and even
Mhm.
teams that like did poorly in kickoff in stage 1, they couldn't do anything in stage 2. So like Koi, for example, were boomed from the beginning. Like they didn't do any roster changes because they
Yeah.
knew they were gonna explode the roster anyway. Like what was the point?
Yeah. Well, and one thing I'm actually happy because I saw some people complain about like, oh, we're doing kickoff again. Like, it's not going to be the same as kickoff this year. Like, your
This
favorite
year's
team
kickoff
isn't
was
going to get eliminated in a single elimination in playoffs. Like, it's not going to happen again. But I like that because it's like you can have just a really good run and then go to a Masters event. And like, I kind of like one unpredictable Masters a year.
yeah.
And of course, they all become unpredictable, but like I kind of just like seeing a hot streak team like make a deep run and then like and I think kickoff's perfect for that.
And
I
I
Yeah.
also
think
think like
AC showed
the
it.
the difficulty ramp up throughout the year makes the tournaments more prestigious. Like
Yeah.
imagine if you had like a 12 or 16 tournament every year. Like that shit would get like so boring. Like you feel like you would just be watching like the same thing over and over. Like like you were saying, like I feel like an 8-team tournament gives people like that are going in the hot streak like more opportunity to win.
Yeah, it just makes Valorant more interesting and my fear is like one region just dominates or one team just wins every single thing cuz like they eventually just ramp up and are good.
Yeah.
Like
But
they're
you
just
saw this year
consistent.
like how different it was. Like the
Yeah.
first one was VCT Americas. Then it was Pacific. Now it's China. And even then, like if you look at all the grand finals, like every region was represented at some point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 2 regions got their first trophies.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if we look at 2023 with that kickoff, like the Sao Paulo kickoff, and then compare that to Champions 2023, I feel like they feel very similar. I remember more of kickoff that year than I do of champs. Like I only remember like the last match, which was the final grand finals, but like they felt pretty similar, you know, like in tournament wise, you know.
Although
Okay.
locking kind of crazy.
The 3 main events throughout the year are going to be Masters Bangkok, Masters Toronto, and Champions Paris. I'm personally not happy about Masters Bangkok. Another Pacific, right? Correct me if
Yeah.
I'm wrong. Another Pacific region tournament. I'm so tired right now. Like I woke up at 12:30 in the afternoon today.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so they can rotate the champion spot, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of makes sense if you look at it from champions perspective, because now we get champs in Europe, and then next year it's gonna be in Americas, right? So
Probably China.
Is
No?
it
yeah,
China
it's
next.
China then
In the
Americas,
video,
right?
they said China next year, and then 27 it'll be Americas.
Okay.
And
Fair
I
enough.
imagine it. I assume it'd be New York. That'd be my prediction, right? Oh no, it could be like
No, it could be Latam.
Santiago, yeah, something like that. Maybe Chile.
Yeah, there's a lot of different
If
places
they're
they can
doing
do it.
if they're doing Toronto this year, then the 27 champs will probably be Latam, somewhere in
Yeah.
Latam.
I
Imagine
imagine it'd be Santiago, right? Not Brazil. Be Chile.
They said they wanted to go back to Brazil.
Or maybe it's gonna be Brazil then.
hear
I
me out.
remember after
Texas
lock-in, they really wanted
champions, Texas. Guys.
Champions.
Texas
to go back.
is-
Champions
It-
Texas would be crazy.
Dallas, they do it in Dallas. Like Dallas champions.
A lot of
There's really good
esports orgs are
stadiums
also
there.
moving to Dallas, so
Yeah.
that would make sense.
Dallas, Rio, maybe. Rio would be a good spot.
Dude,
There's a
the
lot of-
Brazilian tournaments bang always. I feel like
They
they're
do.
always great.
I'm excited for the Paris one though.
Yeah, I'm
Paris-
excited for Paris.
The Paris crowd's gonna be really good. I think.
I
It's gonna be
love
good.
when Champions is at EMEA because that means I get to watch Valorant in the morning.
I just yeah, it's literally the Bangkok one's like 12-hour difference for me.
Yeah. That is going to be tough.
I mean,
Got the off season to rest up.
It's true.
I think Champions Paris will be great if Carmine Corp qualifies. Then we will have the blue
Yeah, or Vitality.
Or
'cause
Vitality.
or Vitality. Yeah.
Vitality's
Yeah.
they have like
Hey.
the ultras are crazy.
I don't know, but Riot need to bring the trumpet guy from the
They need the drum.
True.
from the what was it?
The
Gosh.
CS major.
Yeah, the CS
Cologne,
major
right?
that took place in
No, not
in-
Cologne.
in
I
France.
am.
The thing is, Valorant
Lost
fans are great
Paris.
at cosplay, but we can't really organize our cheers and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I can't
I
get
know.
the chanting going.
Please, a
Yeah,
chant. a chant.
my thing, right? I think they just need to like give more alcohol to people. Because in CS events, they are just loading people with beer. It's not even a joke.
I think
Like-
it was
Valorante, child game.
Child game. It's not though. You see, the most people in the crowd are clearly like
Adults.
mid
Yeah.
20s. Yeah.
Give me alcohol.
Yeah, you literally see in like CS events where they have like the beer snake. Like, I guess it's because everyone's an alcoholic when they play CS, but you know,
Hey,
don't know.
give me and Andy a 12-pack of Twisted Teas, and we'll get that crowd chanting.
Instead, it's just a bunch of kids vaping.
Oh my lord.
that'll be Champions Texas.
Texas vaping and dip or Zins or whatever.
They won't need smoke machines.
Maybe some Modelo, you know, get some Modelos out there.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Hassa JC, like the Ascension, like Polaris caster, he made a really good and really fun like Apex chants last year. and like they're really fun, but I think it's really hard because the like it's like how do you get so many people to agree on a chant for a team? You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
no,
Yeah.
but they like there's some default ones. Like there's the Ole ones. Ole, 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 ole. Come
I
on.
mean, the
like,
Brazilians do it really well.
I mean,
yeah. The
yeah,
Brazilians. That's why they want to
The
go back
Brits do
there
it well.
because they do the
French do
chant.
it well.
the liquid one is so boring. Let's go liquid.
What about the Fnatic one?
Who
Who are
are
we?
we?
FNC.
FNC. That one's all right. I like
I
It's
mean,
that.
alright.
that's
The guy who tried to do it by himself in Champions, that was a non-John with him. That was a bit
oh,
sad.
Ah, that was sad. Yeah.
That was sad.
Yeah. Great schedule overall. I'm a little worried about Ascension, like overlapping with Champions. But at the end of the day, I think people would only want to watch grand finals.
Yeah, because who really cares about anything except like the upper final, like the
The
final?
Final
Because also
Four,
there's
yeah.
always teams in those Ascension tournaments that aren't at the same level. Like there's always skill gaps
Yeah.
in these Ascension tournaments.
Yeah.
and who has said that the Ascension isn't gonna be like it is this year, where they played like the groups or whatever, like 2 weeks ago or something, and they haven't played the playoffs yet. They finished the groups, and then there's like a 2 week break, and then they're playing their playoffs. I think.
Well, because
Oh,
a lot of the Ascension stuff is probably going to take place in like a smaller studio, and then like the final 4 days will be like a big-ish venue, not like
Yeah, yeah.
massive, not a stadium or anything like that, but definitely like a bigger venue.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, how do we know it's gonna? I don't think it's gonna clash too much. I think if you want to
no,
watch
yeah.
both, you're probably gonna be able to watch both.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there are different time zones respective
Mm-hmm.
of whatever region you're in.
Yes.
I just wanna play
Game
in the UK, to be
changers.
honest.
I've never covered it, but I'm excited to cover it this year. There's a lot of studying I need to do because
Yeah, I
I don't
think
watch game changers.
it'll be good just to have it as its own thing. Everyone can really focus on it, and actually care about it. That'll be nice.
It's
And you
also a
can
great
see that
event.
like
Always great
even like
storylines.
off season doesn't actually even start until after game changers.
Mm-hmm. So it's only like a month and a half, maybe.
And they expanded it to 10 teams. I kind of wish they had expanded it to 12 instead.
Yeah.
I know this year it's
I
8.
thought Brazil would
still.
get another team, to be honest.
Yeah.
Brazil
I don't
didn't.
know, but 12-team tournament seems like
It's
more ideal in my opinion.
it's easier to run,
To run,
like
yeah.
formatting.
Yeah.
But I know there's struggle with like budget and stuff like that, so I kind of understand on the other hand too.
Do they? Riot Games struggle with budgets? No.
Never.
They just
Like-
need to sell more skins.
Just give us a game changer skin.
Yeah, they have the
They sh-
$500 faker skin.
They make
Mm,
yeah,
that's true, that's true.
quadrillion dollars.
Are we gonna get a Are we gonna get a $10,000 Kang Kang skin? That's the
Kang
real
Kang skin for your op.
Yeah, I'd buy it.
Kang Kang.
It will cost you 10
I'll take out a
million
mortgage.
You
for
have
it.
to you have to sell your house to buy it.
You have to give Kang Kang your house.
Hey, honey, I'm taking out a mortgage for the Kang Kang skin.
And it's just like a golden operator or
It
something.
gives you a block.
It's just his face.
Okay. I think we're running a little late here. I think we'll save the predictions for another
After
time.
Ascension.
Yeah,
Yeah.
after Ascension.
After the roster comes.
So, this is the exit frag portion of the episode where we go around and we say something we're thankful that happened between the time of last episode and this episode. So, let's start with Mr. Ford TV.
Oh, I'm not thankful for much at the moment. I will say one thing. So, I was in the toilet last night. And
Oh,
I
brother.
look up on the ceiling. No, I look up at the ceiling. I'm like, why is the light flickering? And I look up. Inside the light, I just see about 50 wasps just chilling there. Turns out, the wasps had burrowed through the ceiling into the light, and they'd made a little nest there. But what I'm thankful is they are now dead.
Damn.
So,
Okay.
I just committed genocide.
because it was terrifying. I have I'm not putting the but the picture is terrifying. Like they're literally like crawling around on the light because the light's like a it's not like one hanging down, but it's like in the ceiling.
Yeah.
And it's literally like a zoo. You just see them walking across,
Yeah.
and like you could tap the ceiling, and they would all like scatter around. But now they are gone.
Did you use gasoline? Gasoline
No,
on like Pyrex?
it was like a bug spray thing, a wasp
No.
spray. So yeah, they hopefully they're gone because when they tap, they don't move. But you know, a bit
For sure.
scary. But they're gone now. That's what I'm thankful for.
Well, Ford's alive. That's what
alive.
we're thankful for this week.
Yeah.
All right, Andy.
So I've got two more nests in my house. All right.
Man. Let me think. I'm just thankful for like this entire season because my channel grew like a lot more than I expected, and it was just it was a lot
like
of
at 12K now, no?
Yeah, it was to 13. It's crazy. But yeah, it's just been a really fun season. I'm just happy that I'm happy that it's over too.
Yeah.
It's a rest. I've been trying to watch every game. I've fallen asleep at the end. Like I didn't watch Bind because I fell asleep on accident.
No. That was from Ring Map too.
But yeah, just the season, Valorant season 2024 was great.
All right. Saido?
I am thankful to be here. I'm thankful for being invited. I am very thankful for having such a like Valorant this year has been the years of the rookies, right? We've had such an amazing like explosion of new players, new talent. It's been crazy. Like the grand finals, amazing. Just overall, I'm very grateful for having such a good year of Valorant. You know, like nice.
Yes. I'm thankful for all the viewers for watching this podcast. I remember when me and Andy started, or when I had that Dual Q podcast on my own channel, and it's evolved into this. And views are pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. It seems like we're increasing every time. Please subscribe so we can get monetized.
And buy the EGG bundle. Thank you.
Oh,
Yeah.
focus is gone. Anywho, yeah, I'm very happy about the progress we've made on this channel. Here's to more progress in the off season because there won't be as much Valorant, but hopefully we will cover all the roster mania drama stuff. All right, I don't know why I'm blurred, but I feel like this is an appropriate time to end the episode.
It's got the Gaussian bow effect.
They want me gone.
Something heinous is happening.
You're getting shadows snapped.
Oh, there we go.
No.
I'm back. All right. This has been Exafrag, episode number 8. We will see you next time.
Bye.